Yeah. Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's
Can you
going
see me?
on?
Can you see me, Doc?
Man.
Can you hear me?
See you.
All right,
I can see you. Absolutely, man. Hey, man. For those listening, welcome to the Real Talking Real Estate Podcast. Hey, man, I've had this question asked to me several times. What's the podcast about? So I want to answer that question right now.
What's the podcast about? They ain't been listening.
They ain't been listening, man. They said, "What's the podcast about?" I mean,
what you want my thoughts?
Yeah,
on?
give me your
The show is about having real talk, real conversations with top producing agents who not just out here just talking about it, but they making things happen.
Absolutely.
And so if you are anywhere in your career and you had an opportunity to sit down one-on-one with a top producing agent, what question would you like to know?
Absolutely.
And that's what the show is all about.
Absolutely. And to add on to that, it's a little deeper. We go deep with these questions. I mean, we don't just keep it surface level. We want to know the real deal. Like, we don't cut no corners. I give it to you straight, no chaser. And some of my questions kind of very direct. I know Chris has direct questions, so we really want that real talk because it's a lot of perception out there. I mean, you'll see just listed, but you don't see the grind and all the hustle that it took to get to that point. Or you see these pictures where you're taking just sold and with the families and everything. So we want to have that real perspective because there's a lot of noise out here in the industry, and we need to really block that out and really get to what really goes on in this business. So that's what the podcast is about. All right.
I love it. I'm excited about this show tonight, brother. I'm excited. I remember, listen, I don't know this young lady, but I remember when you told me about her and I went on her Instagram, dude, I didn't probably watch. She probably thought I was stalking. I didn't probably watch every video that she did, every little thing that she had out there, man. I was in tune. I was like, God damn, she's a beast. She's a beast. I'm loving it. I'm excited about this show.
Absolutely, man. Hey, man, this like I said, man, this girl here, and I mean, what the thing I love about her, man, she's very genuine. She's still down to earth. Still love her Tito's vodka. I mean, I love that about her, man. You know, we go to lunch. You say, hey, y'all got some Tito's, and if they ain't got it, she's pissed. But
is she getting Coke with it? Tito's and Coke? What's she doing with it?
I don't know what she drinks with it. We got to answer that question on the show. We got to figure that show.
We're gonna answer that.
Hey, but this young lady, man, like I said, needs no introduction, man. She's been creating an experience for buyers and sellers and her customers for the past, I think, 7, 8 years, something to that. And so in this real estate business, and she's been able to, she's down to earth, she's making a difference, and she's trying to touch every life. She touching the lives that she reaches doing through real estate.
Sure.
So she's been known last year, 2022, as the #1 realtor in Northeast Florida. She dropped a couple of spots, which is still good with me. I mean, she had number 4.
I'm gonna ask her how come she dropped. I'm gonna ask her that question why she dropped.
Yeah. So, according to the Jacksonville Business Journal, so outside of real estate, she has 5 sons, man. I didn't tell you about that part. 5 sons. I think one of them's on college trips right now.
Yeah, no.
We got some college trips.
She look about 26 herself.
One, and then not to mention, I think the oldest, he just did a UFC fight. He did his first UFC fight, man. These kids ain't no joke, man. So you better not play with her. Wow. And so, hey, she's definitely athletic, encouraging, life of an entrepreneur. Authentic relationships are what drives her through her business, community, friendships, and partnerships. She's also called herself Biggie. She loves and in love with Biggie Smalls.
I saw that. Biggie Smalls?
We'll talk about that too. So,
hey,
need no further introduction, Miss Melissa Ricks.
Woo-hoo!
Hey, friends.
What's happening?
What's going on?
Time out. We got to go back to something. Chris, you said I look how old? Because you know you about to be my bestie. 26? I'm going to take it.
26, 27 years. Am I right? I'm probably off, what, about 2 or 3 years?
Shut up. I wish.
I can't be off more than 2 or 3 years.
Listen, I tell my sons all the time because, you know, I don't know if you've seen any pictures of my boys, but they're like monsters. Wow. And so we joke all the time that I need to be wearing a shirt that says I'm the mom, not the girlfriend, because they tower over me and I look like I claim to be 29 forever, but
okay, there you go.
I'm learning to let go. I'm learning to let go of it, man. I got to let go of it.
I love it.
You know?
I love it.
It is.
Well, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Welcome. Yeah. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you're a busy woman, so let's go ahead and hop right into this interview. So tell us who Melissa Ricks is and how'd you end up go from Philadelphia to Jacksonville?
Yes. Philly girl. So, well, I was about 45 minutes outside of Philly. That's where I grew up. And my husband was in corporate logistic warehousing for many years, and we visited down here. It was my first time ever spending time in Jax in 2014, I want to say.
Okay.
And my husband is very big on happy wife, happy life, man. So I fell in love. We were down here for 2 weeks, and we went back up north. This is 2014, and I was like, get us down there. And so his company at the time, they offered us a relocation package. One thing about me you have to know, if I want it, I'm getting it, period.
I love it.
And so, I was in the trenches of motherhood at that point. My kids were all there. I had 5 under 10. So as you can imagine, it was quite a hefty load. I loved every bit of it, but that was my 100% identity. That was all anybody knew me as. And, the reality is kids get older, they leave you, they grow, and you have to find yourself, and you have to find some love for yourself and find what drives you. And so we ended up in just north of Jacksonville in a little town called Yulee. And I love it. It's my favorite community. I just obsessed. I feel like I just hit the jackpot with where we landed. Wow. And got into real estate pretty much immediately when we moved down here. I'm going to be honest with you. It was not something I planned at all. Like I was one of those like, let me watch a little bit of HGTV, scroll some show,
$1 million listing.
Yeah, and I was like, I'll find a hobby, So we came down here. My husband pushed me to get my license, and my initial thought was like, just sell 2 or 3 homes a year, find a little hobby on the side of being a mom, and should have known my personality is very balls to the wall or nothing at all. Like there's no in between for me, and so I just hit the ground running and took off. That was 2000, I want to say 15.
Okay.
And so here we sit, just grinding and having a good time. I'm a life lover, man. I just want to love life. I want to be happy. I want to love people in my world. No matter what space you're in, if you cross my paths, I want you to feel loved. And that's been very beneficial in my business for sure.
That's good.
Absolutely.
That's good. Absolutely. Now, were you working another job while you were doing your real estate career?
I was a waitress on the weekends, man. And honestly, it was just for me to get some adult interaction.
Okay. Right.
I was like full of like diapers and throw up and baby food for so long. So I worked at a little brew house up north, and it was my sanity. I loved it. I was good at it. I was a great server. I still love the service in the restaurant industry.
Sure.
I just knew I didn't want to get into that when I came down here, because these are long nights, long weekends. You know what I mean? I wanted to have something that I could kind of build a career off of. But yeah, that was it. I mean, I graduated high school. I did maybe 2 semesters at a community college. I don't have a college degree. Nothing super smart or special about me, honestly, other than the fact that I'm just a hustler and I just know how to work hard and love people.
I see the plaque on your back wall that says hustler.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so she said I'm a hustler. I love it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of different directions we can go in this, Maurice. You want to start off? You want me to hit it?
Yeah, I just want to start off. Where did the Biggie Smalls come from? Give us the background on that.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I've always loved Biggie. He's just my guy. And I'm very consistent with the things that I love. So most people that follow me on Instagram, they know Biggie Smalls, Tito's, you mentioned that. Tito's and Sprite, splash of cranberry. Anybody knows me knows that's my drink. I'm a creature of habit. So when I fall in love with something, I usually love it really, really, really hard. Right. But I've got, I don't know, I've always had an obsession with Biggie. Matter of fact, a lot of my past clients have gotten me some really cool Biggie Smalls memorabilia and really cool gifts. I had this one client one time made me a disc, like a custom Biggie Smalls disc with like his lyrics spray painted on it. Oh, wow. Super cool. So I don't know. And I just talk about it a lot, so everybody knows like I'm a Biggie fan. Like that's who I run to every night is Biggie.
So I'm about to say, how often do you listen to Biggie Smalls? Are you like
Daily.
rocking it as in your car? Is it in your
Daily.
car? Right. It is.
So that begs the question. What's your favorite Biggie song?
There you go.
Oh man.
And in fact, just drop a few bars for us.
You're
Drop a few bars for us, and then we'll know what song that is. Go ahead and drop a few bars.
No, fam, nah. Oh, I don't know. I think there's too many. and I don't want to be basic and say something like
One more
Hypnotize or Big Papa, because I feel like that's like what everybody goes
Everybody
to.
know that one. What's your go-to
beef?
when you
got beef? Have you guys ever heard that song?
There you go.
I think that's probably one of my, when that comes on and I'm working out. So I do like garage workouts almost nightly, and Biggie's just my go-to. So when that song comes on, like there's something different that comes in me.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's your go-to, beef.
Yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to the podcast, put beef on it. It's going to rock you. It's going to accelerate your real estate career. I promise you.
There you go.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Good stuff.
Was beef.
Was
so,
beef.
All right.
All right. So let's jump into it. Cause man, I mean, you are a superstar. You know, we got other superstars saying, yeah, she's a superstar. So that's a powerful thing. And so you say you got into the business in 2014, 2015, and you just basically got into the business just to kind of do a couple deals a year. When did you realize, how far in your career did you realize, oh snap, I could take this thing to the next level?
Okay, so next level, like my current situation, that was a couple of years, but I will say immediately I knew that this was for me. My first conversation, I'm such a human lover. I can't even explain to you how much I love human beings. I love their souls. I love hearing their stories. I love their walks of life. I'm a huge sap. So I don't care who you are. You could be the most successful person. You could be what others would look down on. I could care less. If you have a soul, there's something about you that can be loved. Cool. And so I feel like real estate was just such a vessel for me to be able to be involved in human beings' lives. And it was just so powerful to me. And that was immediate. Now, it took me years to build the confidence to believe in myself, to grow what I've grown, honestly. Probably a good 3 to 4 years for me to actually say, okay, Melissa, you can do this. You can do this at a high level, and you can do it in the way, because here's the thing with real estate. There's so many top producers, right? And I do believe that everybody's idea of a top producer is different. I don't really look at myself as a top producer. I look at myself as a normal human being that loves really hard and knows how to work. That's it. Like there's literally nothing special about what I do. I do the same thing everybody else does. I've just learned to be okay being vulnerable and attached to my emotions, allowing that to convey to my database and the people that I work with and the people that I connect with. And that has just helped my business grow immensely. And I think that if more people got okay with being their real authentic selves, they would see very quickly that your business will be a byproduct pretty much of that. So yeah, I mean, I knew immediately that it was for me. It took me a long time to figure out the nuts and bolts of, because you can't just be out. You have to be smart if you want to grow an actual company and a business and have employees and staffing and all the things that come with it, right? So that took me years to develop and learn that aspect of the business. And even to this day, I really I don't know, man, there's certain things that are weird about me that y'all would be like, really? I don't like the word boss. I cringe when my girls call me boss. I just think it's weird. I don't know. There's just certain things about me that honestly, I was a teenage mom. I had a tough time when I was younger. And there's certain things about me that'll never go away, that it's just who I am. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So Melissa, you brought it up, and I had a question about that. I want to kind of talk about that just a little bit. So teenage mom, I'm sure you have a lot of haters, naysayers say that, oh, you're not gonna amount to anything, because that's the cliche things that people say when you're 15, 16 years old and you're about to have a child. Yeah. So my first question is, how did you overcome that, for one, and then how did that mindset that you had then shift and transition into the business that you have now?
So I think for me, I thrive off of any kind of conversation, whether it's positive or negative. Mm-hmm. I won't say names or who or whatever, but I mean, I was told at a very young age, my husband and I met, I was 18, and we're an interracial couple. Mm-hmm. I got pregnant very quick. We moved in very quick. I had a lot of people that were not in agreement with how we moved, and that was okay. But I had people that I loved dearly sit me down and say, I don't agree with what you're doing. This is not who we, expect you to be, blah, 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 whatever. And you know what my response was every single time? I understand, and I'll be ready to love you when you come back around.
Okay.
I've never been a combative, like defensive, like, if you feel the need to say this, whatever, it was just, I'm just going to love you through it. And I understand everybody has their own perspective, but I'm going to prove it to you that, we're mature enough to make these decisions, and I'll show you, you'll see. So I've kind of always gone through life just kind of feeling the need to prove to the outside world or the people in our lives that I could do it. Whatever that looked like, I could do it. I was strong enough. I was smart enough. I worked hard enough. And so that carried over into real estate, and just, I don't know, it's just kind of always been my mindset. It wasn't until maybe the last year or two that I stopped feeling the need to prove things to other people. And I chose to prove it to myself.
Gotcha.
That's good.
So let me ask you this. And so was it the naysayers telling you that because you're in a interracial relationship, or is it because that you were a teenage mom? Which was it both?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both.
Got you.
And from all aspects. I mean, you got to remember, like 18 years old, bright future, and they see, oh my gosh, you're about to get pregnant. You just moved into this whole new thing. What's going on? And I don't judge, and listen, I don't judge anybody in the world, whatever your beliefs are, however you were raised. I believe that, not to get too deep on y'all's podcast, but
no, go deep.
Hey, this is what it's about.
I'm about to ask you some real questions.
When it comes to the race situation, I never judged anybody for judging us, and it goes both ways, depending on what you were raised in, what environment you were raised in, what you knew in your generation. That's not for anybody to judge. You know what I mean? Like, I never, ever even disagreed with somebody on their beliefs, because that's your belief to carry. That's your perspective. I don't have to share it. Don't ask me to share your beliefs, but I'm not judging you. Do you, boo? You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna do me, you do you, So I just think that, there's old school people that just kind of have to come around to that, and that's okay. That's what makes the world go round, in my opinion,
Yeah,
that's good. That's good. One of the things you talked about, Melissa, was, getting into the real estate game. There was a point where you had to figure out and get your confidence built up. Where did that lack of confidence come from, number one? And then how did you overcome it to build that confidence back?
So the lack of it came from, I would say, just 15 years of being in the trenches of being a mom. There is no days of looking pretty or getting dressed up, doing your makeup, doing your hair. 5 kids back to back. You could imagine what that does to your body. I mean, there's a lot that you go through as a woman, having babies like that, and it takes a toll on you. I've always been a very confident person. But towards the back end of that was probably my toughest years confidence wise. And I wasn't used to not having confidence. I mean, shit. High school, you couldn't tell me shit about myself. Like I don't care. Like I was the girl. I was her.
If there was a picture of her, it'll be you.
I'm just saying, I'm her. I think getting into real estate was somewhat intimidating. It was intimidating, and I'm sure that most new agents feel the same way. You come into this world, you're a baby, you know nothing. I knew nothing about real estate. It was never something I had in my plan. So you're surrounded by all these knowledgeable, beautiful humans, and you're just trying to keep up, and I think a lot of people go through that in the beginning of like, how can I fit in where I need to fit in? And that's why I'm so vocal in the agent community now. And I have been for many years. I do a ton of new agent mentoring, encouraging them and empowering them to follow their own path. And don't look at somebody else as somebody you need to follow. You don't need to shop at the same places they shop at. You don't need to market the same way they market. You can find your own path, but building that confidence up for people in the very beginning when you lack knowledge. I mean, straight up, we all have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was time on task, just learning the business, learning the trade, becoming a true expert, ultimately is what really helped grow my confidence. And then then there's the other part of real estate, which is where you get really confident and you start to possess an ego. You know, anybody that knows me very well has been around for a while. I'll tell you straight up, 2018 was my ego year. That's what I call it. Like, you couldn't tell me shit. You know what I mean? Like, that was my big breakout year. Everybody knew who I was. And it was the first time that all of a sudden I had an identity as this big powerhouse, strong agent. And it wasn't just attached to this, you know, frumpy old mom. You know what I mean? So, and then you have to reel yourself back in and go backwards a little bit and be like, okay, humble yourself, sister. You know what I mean? Like, this is not the move. Real estate's a whole emotional roller coaster.
Sure it is. Yeah,
it is.
You talked about one of your keys to successes was being authentic. And I can tell right now how authentic that you are. In an environment like real estate, where we're always trying to emulate the next great thing, how difficult is it for you to find your authentic self, and what advice would you give to the new agents?
For me personally, zero difficult. I could give two shits about keeping up with the Joneses, but that's never been me ever in my life. I want to be smart. I want to be educated. I want to know my craft inside and out. But as far as looking the part or speaking the part, that's never, ever been me. There are some people in life, not just in real estate, that I feel the need to fit in. And I'm constantly trying to remind people that are in that world that you were born with your DNA for a reason, right? We weren't meant to fit in. We were meant to be ourselves. I am a path blazer through and through. I don't want to do. I mean, matter of fact, I've actually gotten in my own way before from doing things that are great because others have done it and I refuse to follow in others. But I'm so adamant about following, like, building my own path. You know what I mean? Right. So for me, it wasn't hard. You know, the advice that I give to others trying to figure that out is like, find what you thrive in, find what drives you. When your feet hit the ground in the morning, what are the first thoughts that come to your head? What is it that drives you every day? It cannot be what cute little Mary Sue just wore to the networking event the day before. That can't be what it is. There's got to be more to you, boo. Figure out what it is and be confident in that. And if you need a confidence boost, call me and I will boost it all day. You know what I mean? Like, but there's so much beauty in individuality and just being real with yourself. Listen, you know how boring the world would be if we all looked and talked the same way? Come on, bro. Like, no one wants to be a part of that. You know what I mean? Right. So unfortunately, the real estate industry it's always been about vanity. I feel like, and maybe I'm just a dreamer, I feel like I've seen a shift in the last couple of years. I feel like I've started to see a lot more people come into their own and acknowledge their being and their authenticity and running with it, because this day and age it's becoming more normal to be authentic. And I just think it's such a beautiful thing. I love to see it, because there was years where if you didn't look the part, you weren't going to be successful and your marketing was going to look this way and whatever. And I just think it's just a crock of shit, honestly. Just not the move, bro. Be you.
Right. Got you. So Melissa, you started out on a team, or you were on a team?
Yes.
So what was that experience like for you, and what did you take from that to your business as a solo agent?
If I didn't start out on that team, I would not be where I'm at right now.
Really?
Put aside anything that comes with, business departures or business divorces. Say what you want, because they're not always pleasant. And I've heard lots of stories, and I can't say that mine was perfect. But what I will say is the knowledge and the experience that you gain from being with somebody that's done it before and has created the systems and the models before you is extremely valuable. I'm a huge believer in new agents starting on teams. The biggest thing I would say is you have to make sure it's the right fit for you. So there's tons of different teams. They're all structured differently. My team is very different from the norm. And I get people ask me all the time about growing and hiring, and I'm just not in that space where I think I could do a service to a new agent coming on. So I'm not in a space of hiring and growing at the moment, but there are some teams that are really designed to help bring on that new agent, help them learn, help educate them, help them gain the experience. Listen, my first year I sold 10 homes.
Okay.
I was on that team for, I want to say 4 years.
Okay.
My fourth year, I had sold 135 homes.
By your fourth year.
Mm-hmm.
So the first year you did 10.
Yep.
Can you step us up? What do you think?
I can. We went 10, 42, 80, 130. Then I left, and then I went 155.
Wow.
To 180 to 210. And then last year, that's crazy. I know those numbers.
That's crazy.
Wow. And then last year, of course, was a huge shift in the market. But last year I did 125. And this year we're on pace for about just over 100.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's pretty consistent. At this point, I think with the market, that year over 200, let's be real, 2021 was like an anomaly year. So I don't even really use that as a typical year that you would like compare, But I stay around that 100 to 125 range or so. And I'm good with that. Like that's, but yeah, that was my trajectory. And truthfully, as a brand new agent coming in solo, I mean, listen, I moved here from PA. I didn't know anybody.
Right.
I had 12 people in my database that I brought on into our CRM. There's no chance. There's no chance I would have had that kind of trajectory in a matter of 4 years without that team. Now, granted, I hustled my ass off 7 days a week, 12 to 14 hours a day, nonstop. And this is the thing that I tell people. They look at me and they're like, God, I want to do what you do. And I want to be where you're at. And tell me all the things, Yoda. Right. And I'm like, yeah. How much you want to work, boo? Because the reality is whatever you want to chase, you can get. But what do you want to sacrifice?
Right.
I sacrificed a lot.
A lot. Got you. So let me ask you a question. So you talk your numbers, and I absolutely, that's crazy to me that you sold over 200 homes in a year. That's crazy. So now, and I'm sure at this point in time, you became the #1 agent in the area, and you've been consistently in the top 5 for the past few years.
Yeah.
So when you first became the #1 agent, what was your mindset like? Were you like, I'm the shit?
Did you say it? I want to know, did you say it?
Yourself like, okay, I have just arrived, and then what was your aha moment like? I can continue doing this moving forward.
Yes, continue doing this moving forward. Yes. Did I look at myself like I was a shit? No.
Really?
Come on now. No, listen.
No, a little bit.
Listen. I'm gonna kick it to you guys straight. I don't like being put on a pedestal. I get very awkward. I don't like them. For a very short time in 2018, and this is before my big years, right? I was like, oh, this feels good. You go somewhere and they're like, oh, it's Melissa. And you're like, okay, cool. It was very, very quick. Like something happened in my family life and I was like, oh shit, let me not forget where I came from. Let me not forget years of food stamps. Get your shit together, Melissa. Right, you know what I mean? I get very awkward. To be honest with you, the first thought that I had when I took #1 spot, and let me not get emotional here on y'all, but
don't get it, because we like this going to add for our viewership.
I had recalled a conversation I had with one of my sons when he was little. And he had told me that he wanted to make it to the NFL one day. And he's extremely talented. He's got all of the things. And like I do, when we break things down and we talk about expectations and what you need to do to get where you want to go, we talk about the things you have to sacrifice. And so this was when he was much younger. I mean, probably 6 or 7. And so at the time we had talked about what does it take? Here's the reality of these stats. If you want to get to the NFL, you have to be top 1% in the nation, okay, to get to this level, just to put yourself in a position to get where you want to go. And oh, by the way, don't forget the 6 a.m. workouts, the 2-a-days, the 4.0 GPA, the ability to communicate with human beings and build relationships, the ability to keep your emotions level-headed, right? There's so many factors that go into making it to the top 1% like that, Right. When I got into real estate, my kids were my biggest cheerleaders. I'll never forget going through the classes and just wanting to accomplish something for them. Like they were so pumped up when I passed my test. Like yo, our mom made it. She's the best. She's so dope. Right. And I remember looking at him, that one that I had that conversation with, and I was like, you know what? I've been telling you all these years about what it takes to be top 1%. I'm going to chase the same dream. And I'm going to prove to you that after 15 years of momming, I can chase down top 1% in Northeast Florida. That was my original goal, top 1%. Not number one, not top 1% in the country. Just, this is my small little market. I'm going to be up there. So,
I'm sorry. And what year was that when you did that?
Probably, well, number one agent was 2021.
And that's when you had the conversation in 2021?
When I went back to him and he was the first person I called, like, yo, bro, remember all those times we talked? Guess what I just did? Wow. And I did it to show you that I'm living this world with you. I'm living that grind and that sacrifice and that life with you. So you can see if I can do it, you can do it type thing. So for me, it's deeper. It's not about the vanity. I don't care. I really don't care about the photo shoots and the magazine covers and like that stuff is not me. Like it's me. Like, I have fun with it. Don't get me wrong, but that's not Melissa Ricks. You know what I mean? Like you want to have a real deep conversation with me. I'll tell you about some shit. I'll tell you why I sacrifice the way. I know what it's like to look at my kids and not know how to feed them. There's a different level of grind and hustle and sacrifice that you're willing to take on when you've gone through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What was your, so as you're there, what was one thing that you thought to yourself, I gotta get this done? What was that why for you?
I have to protect what I built. Okay. So the first thing that I think about every morning when I wake up to this day is my hardest days when I was younger, when I was slumming it, when I had these kids. Every single day. This is why I don't even like to say, oh, I'm humble, but this is why I stay grounded. I had to figure out a way to protect what was built because you don't build something like that and achieve that and accomplish that just to let it go. You know what I mean? There's so many people in this industry that you see get on the top of their game and then 5 years later, they're gone and they've disappeared. And you're like, what the hell? They either got really tired or they didn't set up their business the right way to protect the longevity. I've got a legacy to build. I've got these kids looking to me going, we want to be business owners. We want to make it to the top 1% in our field. We want to do X, Y, Z. What do I look like out here going, you know what? I'm going to build a monster and just let it fall apart. So my first thought, my business wise was, all right, Melissa, this is when it gets serious. How do you protect this? How do you keep it so that your business is sustainable? And now you start to grow in a smart and efficient way. Then you get to bring on people and change their lives too. You want to talk about something dope is bringing on people that now become a part of your world and you get to help change their lives and their families' lives too. Like that is for sure like one of my favorite rewards of growing.
Gotcha. So you mentioned, and I know we talked about this before, and I've heard you say this. So do your 5 sons play into your why and the reason to get you up and get you hustling every day? They don't have anything to do with it. No. So tell us
anything. I wouldn't say anything.
I'm gonna say, darn, man, listen.
You said no, like I'm like, okay.
Like
they're not the reason why I get up every day and work.
They're not.
No.
No. Go ahead, talk about it.
Real. My why is human beings. So are they in that group? Of course, they're my humans. And if anybody knows me knows, I'm always put my kids before anything, before any human being. But it's much bigger for me. Like I want to change the world. Like,
gotcha.
Like I want to love humans. I want people to feel a certain kind of love and kindness when they cross paths with me. And whether that's my kids, their teachers, their coaches, my clients, the people that work for me, their families, whatever that looks like. If you are in my world, you are in my world, period. And my kids benefit that because they share life with me, but there's so much more that I can give outside of them. And now I'm watching them go out and do the same things to other human beings, which is even more beautiful because they're these big, strong, burly guys. And they're like super cool being big teddy bears and lovable. Don't get me wrong. They're savages when they need to be. Yes. But they know what it's like to be kind to other human beings. You know what I mean? Because they've been raised around with a sap, pretty much.
Gotcha.
How did you talked about relationships, and I hear that's a huge thing that you keep talking about, relationships and a lover of people. And I love that because I'm a lover of people myself. How have you maintained or figured out how to maintain long-term relationships for your success?
So the long-term relationships aren't as difficult for me as I think they are some others. I don't know. I just grow friendships with people, and I love on them when I can, and they understand I'm busy, they're busy, whatever. I will say we do a lot of customer events. And I explain to my people when we do them, I'm doing these because I want to make it a point to see you multiple times a year. And I understand that we all have busy schedules. This is my way of getting us all together so we can spend some time together. My struggle is real talk.
Sure.
Maintaining the relationships in the current state during transactions. I'm not a transaction agent. I never have been. I don't tie anything that I'm doing with them to a transaction or a paycheck.
Explain that. Go deeper on that.
Okay. So I don't want to say I could care less if your house closes, because that's not the truth.
I like it. That's a good word. We'll use it for now.
I don't take a listing because I ran some numbers and I saw what my commission could potentially be. I actually literally have never done that. I take a listing because I sat down with you and I learned about your story and your background and your dog's name and your kids' names and all the things that come with you as a human. And I fall in love very quickly with all kinds of humans. And I tell them from day one, listen, if you're not looking for a realtor that's going to be a part of your life, we are not going to be a good fit, because that's what I'm going to want. And you're going to feel that the second you join forces with the MRE team, you're going to feel loved immediately. If you are just hey, I just want this done, probably not a good fit. And that is okay. Like, I want you to acknowledge that from day one, but nothing about me is just tied to those documents and that paycheck and that, you know what I mean? Like, real estate is like a vessel for me to be a part of people's lives and vice versa. Like, I can't even tell you, I could tell you stories for hours on how the people that I've worked with have changed my life and my mindset and created feelings inside of me that I didn't know existed just because of what they were going through or whatever. And I know it's because I'm deep. I'm just a deep human. Like, I feel so deeply. It's just who I am. I just think that we live in a world where people are scared to be like that.
Yes.
Just if you're like, and don't force it. If you're not like that, don't be like that. Right. Like, I have some girls on my team that are like not deep people. Like, they tell me all the time, I have to turn on my deep when I get around you, because I know you're deep and I want to know all the things. Like, tell me how you're feeling, So not everyone's built like that, and that's okay. Like, you don't have to force it, but if you are, it's okay too. Be you, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Your people will find you.
Got you. So Melissa, I was reading something the other day, and it said that over 60,000 agents have left the business this year in 2023, and we haven't even finished the year off yet. So
I saw that too, man. Whew, heartbreaking.
So what advice are you giving those agents who are just like, either the agents that are on that edge of saying, hey, I'm about to join that 60,000 and I'm about to move on?
Why are you doing what you're doing? I'm going to be honest with you. The people that have made the choice to leave, I applaud them if it's the right move for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's hard. It's hard right now. I'll tell you right now, I've joked so much this year about going and applying to be a Walmart greeter. I say it all the time. Like, yo, Publix has got to be hiring. I know. I'd be a great greeter. I'd be a great door greeter. I would sunshine and rainbows all day long, bro.
Right.
It's hard. 2023 has been the most emotional market I've ever been a part of. And I think I'm in year 8 right now. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. Everything is so over the top and dramatized. And I feel agents, like, this is the market where relationship agents are struggling the most. Like, I am probably up to 10 miles a day in cardio right now, only because I have to outlet it, or else I would be a basket case every day. I'd be feeling for my people. I'd be crying for my people, because it's hard. But challenging times like this make people realize if they're in it for the right reasons. And if people are getting out because it's not a good fit for them, then I applaud them. And I think there's a lot of people that would say, no, that's crap. Like, they're just quitting. why they got into the business in the first place is not our business, right? Everybody has to try something somehow, some way. If it feels like it was a fit for them at one point, great. But when it gets tough and you're like, all right, this is my time, it's time to go. Like I think that's smart. And I think honestly, I think there's gonna be more to go. You gotta really love this business to be in it right now. You gotta really, now I don't even say that. You have to really freaking love people to be in this business right now.
Yeah.
Truly.
That's good.
Genuinely love, not just say it. Because listen, real talk, there's a lot of realtors that say I'm in this business because I love people, and that is not true. Like it's like the go-to move for realtors to say because they think that's what people want to say. And I'm sorry, I'm calling your bluff. Like it's
right. You're mean, you're nasty, you don't want to, yeah. So I know you're not a lover of people.
You're full of shit. Yeah. Right, like it's okay. You don't have to love people, but don't say it if you don't. You know what I mean?
Right. That's good. What advice would you tell, like if you had to go back in time, what advice would you tell the 2014, 2015 Melissa Ricks?
Oh man.
Knowing what you know now.
Probably trust yourself. It took me a long time to trust myself. And honestly, even until pretty recent.
When you say trust yourself, are we talking what break it down? We're talking about decisions. What are we talking about?
Maybe not so much decisions. Maybe having the right people around me.
Okay.
I went through some tough transitions over the years. Because maybe I fell in love and with people and I wanted to see the best. And
there you go.
You know, that's, I don't know. That's been a big one. I will say too, like find an outlet, man. Like I was borderline obsessed for a couple of years. You guys are catching me in a very peaceful place in my life. And you would have caught me on a podcast 18 months ago, even 12 months ago. Totally different mindset.
The difference. How was the difference?
I didn't know how to. So I've never really believed in work-life balance.
Okay.
It's going to sound weird. I believe in figuring out how to merge your work and your life, right? You can do both and you can collaborate both of them. And I think that people have this thing that they have to shut it off, whatever. Because I was never a believer in separating them completely, I never, ever did anything for myself and checked out ever. And I was obsessed. And it, unfortunately, it created some times on my team where I was just tunnel vision obsessed. We have to protect. And not realizing people have lives. People want to live. People don't, you can't expect someone to be as invested as you are. It's your name, right? Like you have to learn through those things. So until I found some really healthy outlets for me to get that energy out, I can't say I was super peaceful for many years of my career. Thankful for what I went through because it gave me a perspective that I think I needed to have so that I'm, where I'm at right now. And I don't know. Here's the other thing. 5 years from now, we all may be in completely different spaces and not a clip. You know what I mean? Like I also am not a huge planner because I don't know where I'm going to be in a couple of years. So who knows? But finding a healthy outlet, I think, was really probably the biggest advice I'd give myself. 2014.
So let me ask you something real quick, Melissa. So you said several times your love of people, you want people, clients, whoever you come into to be in your world. So how does that feel when those people let you down and you have such high expectations? You pour so much into those folks, and it's like the relationship doesn't cultivate and move forward like you would like because you've done so much. You say your love of people. So when those people let you down, how do you handle that?
That's a good question. I've never been asked that before, and I've actually never thought about it. I don't think it bothers me.
Really?
Because that's not okay. So
I get pissed.
You have to feel something because you put so much heart and love into people just for being people and being authentic and being themselves, and then when they don't. When they let you down or they do something different or they backstab you or do something, whatever negative to you, you have to feel something.
Okay, so there's probably been a handful of scenarios in the last couple of years that I've carried some resentment, with people that I feel like I poured into and didn't acknowledge it or didn't treat me the same way back. Different scenario. It wasn't client based. That was like staffing based. It's just time for me. I would just take time to get over my resentment. I'm a big self-awareness person. So like mindset is, I'm super big on mindset. If I'm not in a healthy place, I've got to find a way to get healthy. Here's the other thing. I don't think that, because I've had clients hurt me for sure and say hurtful things in moments of frustration or projecting their emotions. And I'm human, obviously. So like, there's always an initial like, oh man, that stung. But I don't know. I got to tell you, I'm kind of like I feel spoiled. I'm kind of a queen in my house. So I'm like really loved when I get home. And I really think that, I don't know. And I'm just saying this now because no one's ever asked me that question before. And so I'm like, wow, Melissa, why aren't you ever sad? Because there's a lot of negativity, but like I can't even put into words like how my kids react to me when they see me. Like I'm such a queen. Like you have no idea. So I really can't, I'm not unloved. I can't feel unloved. There's nobody that can make me feel unloved. Now, and also I love myself.
You about to cry? Are you about to cry?
No, fam, I ain't crying.
Oh,
listen. Don't make me.
Hey, I gotta stop asking these questions. You're about the second person I'm gonna make cry on this show. I gotta stop doing this.
I love it.
I mean, I was close, but I ain't crying.
Okay, yeah,
I'm too hard for that. I'm too hard for that.
Suck that up.
Sucking it up.
Yeah.
I'm big on self-love too, man. I can't let that stuff get to me. I love me too much.
That's good. Yeah.
You know, but I have a really dope support system.
So here's a deeper question. I remember a while back you posted something about agents hating on you, where agents went behind your back and talked to customers and have bad talked you and put you down like you were nothing. And I know you posted about it. And I don't know if there was a therapy session for you or what it was, but how did you overcome that situation?
So it wasn't a therapy session. That was more of a PSA. So with
and what were you trying to get out there? What were you trying to get out? Yeah.
For agents to be more aware about what they're saying to people.
Okay.
And that kind of blew up, FYI. I have a big following, right? And it's not even like, not like that. I don't mean to say it like that, but like I have a lot of colleagues and friends in the market.
Yes.
I was very disappointed in that situation. And I love this agent. I still love him. I think that he spoke too quickly and didn't think about his words, and everyone makes mistakes. And we had a conversation after the fact because it damn near went viral in the Jacksonville market.
You had a conversation on video that went viral?
Oh yeah. I put it out there because listen, I'm very vocal.
Yeah,
so if there's something that I stand firm in, you're going to hear my mouth about it, whether you like it or not. And I don't care who's judging me. I don't care what anybody's thoughts are. There were people that were thankful for it because it was an awareness thing. And then there were people that really were not, they were like, yo, that's not cool. And I'm like, I don't care. I mean, it's my social media platform. I don't care, but I'm not going to not speak on something that I feel strongly about. I'm just not. Long story short, conversation about me to a mutual, like we both had interviewed as to be a listing agent. And when my sellers called this person and said, hey, we're hiring Melissa Ricks, they used that as an opportunity to just, say some things. And I'm sure it's happened a million times before, but this one actually got back to me. My seller actually called me and said, these are the things that were said about you. I just wanted to kind of like bring it to your attention. Kind of a little nervous. And I was like, okay, cool. This is great to work through. And we worked through it. We got the house sold. They left a raving review. They had a great experience. It was fine. I don't think that anything was said on purpose to hurt me or to even be mean to me, because I don't think that I have any enemies, honestly. I think sometimes you say what you got to say to kind of, I don't know, get some win business over maybe. I don't know. But you best believe I looked at that as an opportunity to educate and stand on something that I believe in, which is not putting your fellow agents down ever. I just would never do that to another agent ever.
You know, now that we're on the, unless you have another one, now that we're talking about agents, were there any agents when you were getting into the business that you looked to, that you thought, man, that's a superstar right there. Let me see if I can model my career after them. Was there any agents that you could look to that you did that with?
So there was one agent, she was out of Fort Lauderdale. Her name was Saria. I just followed, she had all this cute social media stuff. And the year I got into the business, she had just broken 100 units that year. And I remember being like, God, could you imagine 100 units in a year? That is serious goals. Unfortunately, I reached out to her multiple times, made many efforts to just anything. Can you email me advice, Zoom, coffee, anything? I will drive out to you. I just want to know what you know. Nothing.
Wow.
Like never a response. I don't even think she knows I exist, which is fine. And probably why I don't ever say no to new agents.
I was about to say.
Yeah. I truly can't even tell you how many new agents I mentor, and I do it all just whenever I have time. I meet for coffee on a very regular basis. At this point, truthfully, I could probably start a coaching program. Wow. I just don't, because that's not, it's not my MO.
Say that's the next step.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know what my next step is, honestly. I just want to, I'm a free bird. I just want to love life and be happy and smile and whatever. So there's a lot of agents that I love, and I love that they feel comfortable coming to me, because I didn't receive that same love from the people I looked up to,
You talked about being a free bird. Do you have a 5, 10, 15?
Nope.
No. Wow.
Matter of fact, my brokerage calls me the rebel, because everything that they've created, I don't read the books. I don't follow the models. I just do me. Whatever feels right, whatever feels good, I just do it. And that makes a lot of people cringe, and I'm fine with that. I mean, we can't all be the same, right? Like, I think I do okay. Like, I just want to be happy. Success to me is waking up every day and smiling and being happy with your life and being at peace. And I've experienced times where that wasn't the case, and I don't ever want to go back to that. So we're not promised tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think that if more people, sorry, not to cut you off. I think if more people lived in the day or the moment and stopped obsessing over this 5-year plan, and I say this, has anybody ever seen, I don't know, Maurice, you may have seen this, be where your feet are. I say this all the time. Just be where your feet are.
I think I heard you say this, yes.
Acknowledge where you're at. Lean into it. Whatever feels good, do it. If it feels good in business, you can do it. If it feels good in your personal life, just do it. Like, it's actually ridiculous of us to think that in 6 months, all 3 of us are going to be here.
Not there. No game. In the morning.
I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
So what the hell good is your 5-year plan going to do in 6 months if we ain't here to see it? Be where your feet are. Do what makes you feel good. Lean into what you thrive in and just do it. But I'm telling you, I've been judged for years because I'm not a goal setter. I'm not a planner. Matter of fact, we go into every year, and most top producing teams, they've got their goal setting, and I don't judge it. I think it's a beautiful thing to have your team, like, you know what I mean, on data and numbers. I think it's great, and it works for a lot of people. Our beginning of the year meeting is like, all right, bro, like, what's our word of the year? How are we going to change people's lives?
Wow.
That year I sold over 200 units. You think I had a plan for that? Hell no. We just loved us on some people that year, and we sold over 200 homes because it's clear that we love what we do. You know what I mean? Like, people want to work with you when it's real and authentic. So
that's good.
This is what I mean when I tell you I don't have any secrets. When people are like, "What's your secret?" I'm like,
just love on people.
Yeah.
People. Well, you have a raving fan. Jessica Moore has said a couple things. Yes, Melissa, I'm a deep human as well. Jessica Moore says, that's right. Real estate is not for the weak. Jessica Moore, yes, exercise is essential for us all.
My
Jessica
girl.
Moore, you have enemies. Trust. Jessica Moore. Melissa Ricks, great interview.
Aw, thanks, Jess.
Yeah.
My soul sister girl.
Yeah.
I love it.
She's cool people.
So Melissa, do you have any final thoughts or anything else you wanted to get out there?
Great interview.
Oh man, how do I know you're gonna ask me that?
Well, you didn't plan for it. We know.
Yeah.
I never planned for anything, y'all.
Any words of wisdom, something to take with us?
I will touch on this because if there's anybody that's watching or is going to watch this, I get this question a lot from people that are wanting to grow a team, because the reality is, like, yes, I'm a free bird. I'm a little bit of a hippie. But don't get it twisted. I'm a smart business person. You can't run an operation like I run and not be savvy and smart and understand how to delegate and understand how business operations work. So to anybody that's wanting or getting into a place of wanting to grow a team, trust yourself. So I say that because when I first started MRE, I started my company with, like, I don't know, maybe $15,000 to my name. And I took on 2 immediate salaries from the get-go. I didn't 1099, I did straight salaries because I knew if I was locked in, I would really push myself. People have to get out of their own ways when it comes to hiring and growing a team. If you've made the decision to grow a team, make the decision to do it the right way. That doesn't mean bring on 20 agents with no admin support. You have to have administration and operational support. You have to understand your strengths and your weaknesses, and you have to be smart about it. I see it all the time, and people come to me and they're like, sit me down and walk me through what it looks like. And I'll walk them through what I did, which was, realistically, I hired 4 admin people before I ever hired another agent. And it makes them literally nauseous because that's a lot to carry on one person's sales. But if you have the support and you have the leverage and you understand that your strengths are now going to be more powerful because all of your weaknesses are now being carried by other people that have those as strengths, you can do more and your production can grow. So I would say trust yourself and get out of your own way. For anybody, because I know a lot of people are always curious about that question. They ask me all the time. I can lead a horse to water. I can tell you all the things, but until you get out of your own way, you're probably going to keep going through that cycle that a lot of people go through. And also, like, know what works for you, bro. You know what I mean? Like I said earlier, people ask me all the time, why don't you have 20 people on your team? Why don't you have 30 people on your team? You could be a powerhouse. I just don't want that. I like small. I like culture. I like my team. I like having a small group of us that we can trust and love each other and be there for each other. You don't have to be this, like, you don't have to chase the biggest thing. You know what I mean? Like, do what works for you and be comfortable in that, like, stop chasing the things that don't fit for your life,
How many agents do you have on your team right now?
Me? There's 2 of us.
That's 2.
So I've got 5 right now. The most I ever had on my team was 7. Okay. And that was before I ever hired an agent. So that was me with 6 admin.
Got it.
Yeah. You want to talk about a little bit of pressure? But now there's 2 of us that are producing agents and 3 admin. And no, I have no plans on getting out of production anytime soon. I get asked that question a lot too. Why don't you step out of production and grow your team? Because I don't want to. I love people too much to get out of production. So and I don't know, 5 years from now that might change, but that's where I'm at right now.
Got you.
Maurice, did this time just go by so fast, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, I ain't realized it was 7 o'clock. I let it clock.
Yo, just saying, I was on time. I'm pretty sure I clicked on this link at like 5:59.
You were fine.
Just saying, I'm never on time.
Yes.
Yeah. Man, we got to do another one. We got to do another follow up to this.
If we do another one, just know I will not come on unless there's a Biggie Smalls entrance song. So not here for it.
We got it. Or we could just all 3 just sing the hooks, and then that'll probably be even better.
We could do that. I'm down.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's do it. Well, good stuff. Great interview. Do you have a question, Maurice?
No, I don't have anything else. I mean, she laid it all out there.
Great interview. Way to be authentic. You were raw. I know people are going to get great value from this. Thank you for coming, sharing your story, and just laying out the jewels for us. So
thank you for having me. I always appreciate the ability to just put words out in the universe. So I appreciate it.
I can definitely see how you're in that number, and it's a great thing. It's a great honor. It's a great privilege. Yeah,
absolutely.
So
thank you.
Let's do a follow up. We need to do a follow up episode of this, Maurice.
Absolutely. And thank you.
Yeah.
For our viewers out there will be no show next week. It's 4th of July. So we'll see you guys 2 weeks from now.
No show.
All right.
No show.
Well, that's all we have. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. Thank you so much, Melissa, for being on the show today. And you got anything else, Chris?
No, I'm good. No talk about it. Be about it. See us next. Not next. The following. We're going
July 11th.
July 11th.
There we go.
July 11th.
Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Don't talk about it. Be about it. We out. Peace.
Later, y'all.